So namaskaram and good evening all. Let us start with the quick revision of perquisites today. Perquisites are the most important concept of salary chapter. Many people are unable to understand what is perquisites, and apart from that, people who have understood it, they also get confused. See, perquisite is one of the mechanism through which assessee tries to evade taxes. So far as salary chapter is concerned, we have very few areas where assessee can evade a tax. Please understand, everybody is having intention to save some amount of tax. Now, how he reduce tax? Obviously, he has to reduce the taxable income. Now, how does he reduce the taxable income? So he tells his employer that employer, please do not pay me salary in my account. Instead of paying me salary, you give me certain benefits, such as you provide me accommodation. Instead of me taking salary from you and then I'll be paying the rent to my owner. So instead of me paying the rent, why don't you pay the rent directly? So whatever responsibility this particular employee is having on his head, he will ask his employer to do that. Say for example, employee has to pay for his children's education. So he will request employer, why don't you pay for my children's education? Employee wanted to take life insurance policy. He will ask employer to pay the premium. Employee will use the credit card. The bill will be paid by the employer. Employee will use electricity, gas, or any other facility at his home, and he will ask employer to pay the bill. And obviously employer will do that because employee wants this employee, and like getting experienced professional workers or getting experienced professional employee at lower cost is always beneficial. So this particular employee will say, okay, instead of giving me 30 lakh rupees annual salary, you please give me only 5 to 8 lakh rupees annual salary, and balance you give me in form of benefit, in form of non-monetary benefits, particularly non-monetary, because the understanding of this employee is, if I take money from my employer, it will become taxable. If I take benefit from my employer, it won't be taxable because income tax department cannot capture me. But that's not the case. It is the responsibility of employer now because of TDS chapter. You people are aware of TDS. Because of TDS chapter, it is the responsibility of employer, whether it is a monetary benefit given to employee or it is non-monetary benefit given to the employee. It is the responsibility of employer to determine the tax, appropriate tax, and deduct the TDS. So right now in India, please understand, even non-monetary benefits given by employer to employee are taxable. Obviously, these benefits are personal in nature. It cannot be official in nature. If something is official in nature, so tomorrow you become a CMA, please understand. Tomorrow you become a CMA and your organization will give you a cabin, they will give you a computer table, they may give you laptop, they may give you telephone, okay, they will give you seat to like chair to sit. So obviously all these facilities are given to employee. This office cabin, office table, laptop, mobile, all these are perquisites given in official nature. Please understand, whenever some perquisites are given in official nature, it should not become taxable. Only personal perquisites should be taxable. Now, because these perquisites are given in non-monetary format, it has to be determined. It has to be converted into monetary benefit on per annum basis, because we are determining income for a previous year. Please remember, we always determine income for a previous year, April to March. Whatever income you earn from April to March, we have to determine only that particular assessment years or previous year income. Therefore, we have to determine annual taxable value or taxable value during the previous year. For that, Government of India has made a section 17 subsection 2 which creates a taxability on the perquisite, and there are rules. And the rule number 3, please understand, whenever I ask about the rule 3 should come to your mind. All the valuation that we are discussing now is about rule number 3 from Income Tax Rules 1962. So let's talk about perquisites. So there are two types of perquisite that we have in syllabus: taxable perquisites and exempt perquisites. Though exempt perquisites are not that important in this particular area, taxable perquisites are more important. Let us finish off list of exempt perquisites very quickly. Perquisites given to High Court and Supreme Court judges, perquisite received by government employee outside India, perquisite received by employees of United Nations organization. All these are common from allowances also. Okay, perquisite received by the member of UPSC. The most important addition here is telephone facility. There was a time when communication was very difficult, so employer used to provide, and even today's world, employer provides one additional mobile or additional connection to employee, not for his personal calls, but for the benefit of communication. Whenever some urgent needs is there. So telephone facility, very, very important. Telephone facility is exempt, not taxable, but telephone allowance, in allowances, if you check, telephone allowance was not exempt. So telephone allowance will become taxable. So telephone facility is not exempt, non-monetary benefit is not taxable. Now, when I say 19 perquisites are taxable, this is my one of the favorite question. Out of 19, 13 perquisites are taxable to all employees and 6 perquisites are taxable to specified employees. Okay, so there is a definition of specified employee. Let me show you definition of specified employee. So who is a specified employee? Who can manipulate the employer, or who can control the employer, or who can, sit with the employer and discuss the terms of the salary. Usually lower level staff doesn't do that. So look at the definition of the specified employee. Employee who is the director of the organization, obviously he can control organization. Employee who is having substantial interest in the organization, shareholding in the organization, that means he's the owner of 20% or more, obviously he can also control the organization. Because of third definition, third point, many employee becomes specified employee. In fact, everybody in this universe becomes specified employee. They are saying anybody who is deriving net cash taxable salary more than 50,000 per annum, more than 50,000 per annum. It's not per month, it's per annum. If somebody is earning salary more than 50,000, then he is also specified employee. Actually, income tax department should have amended this particular definition, and they should have made it at least 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. But because amendment has not come in this area, so it is ignored by income tax department. So let us hope that in future year this definition may change. But right now this is the definition: director, shareholder who is holding more than 20%, and a person who is deriving cash salary more than 50,000 in the organization is a specified employee. So for the specified employee, we are having 6 dedicated perquisites. 6 dedicated perquisite: domestic servant facility, gas, water, electricity, education facility to children, medical facility, use of motor car, and leave travel concession, LTC. These 6 facilities are taxable only and only in the hands of specified employee. So you please tell me, if you are a non-specified employee for any reason, if you are a non-specified employee, that means you are an ordinary employee, how many perquisites are taxable in your hand? Please tell me. If you are a non-specified employee, how many perquisites are taxable?
13.
Thank you, Tai. Out of 19, 13 perquisites are taxable. And if you are a specified employee, then how many perquisites are taxable in your hand? If you are a specified employee, how many perquisites are taxable? Please tell me, everyone. For the specified employee, how many perquisites are taxable? Okay, I got reply from Amay. Some people are saying 6, some people are, Amay is saying 19. The right answer is 19. Why, sir? 13 plus 6 is equal to 19. You can see here the wordings. Please understand the wording. Taxable to all employees. We did not say taxable to all employees excluding specified employee. No. All means all. So these 13 perquisites are general perquisites. These are taxable to all types of employees. Apart from this 13, extra 6 are taxable only if you are a specified employee. So please make it clear, if you are a specified employee, for you 19 perquisites are there. If you are a non-specified employee, 13 perquisites are there. Now, out of all the perquisites that we are going to discuss, accommodation and use of motor car, these 2 perquisites are most important because they are more complicated in nature. Apart from that, because ESOP has been recently amended, so ESOP also we have to study in detail. Not only ESOP, superannuation fund, this is also amended. So I have already discussed superannuation fund amendment up to 7.5 lakh. It is exempt now. After 7.5 lakh, excess is taxable. So this, whatever boxes I have created now, 1, accommodation, 2nd, superannuation, 3rd, ESOP, 4th, use of motor car. These are one of the complicated and important perquisites. Balance, if you understand accommodation, you can understand everything. Okay. Let's start with the taxable perquisite to all employees, including specified employees. The first perquisite is accommodation. Here, employer is providing a residential facility to employees. Now, whenever it is a rent-free, unfurnished accommodation, there are 5 situations here. Whenever it is a rent-free, unfurnished accommodation, if it is given by government it is given to government employees, then government have determined license fee according to the rank. According to the rank of the employee, government have determined the license fee. That license fee will be provided in the question. That will become taxable perquisite. Sir, if you are a private sector employee, then there are two possibilities. Maybe house is owned by employer or house is hired by employer. Owned by employer, hired by employer. Let us finish hired by employer first of all. Logic and all, please excuse me. I can't tell you logic behind everything right now in revision. I have discussed so many things in our detailed lectures, intermediate. And some of those lectures are uploaded also. If you want to get clarity, you can watch the detailed lecture. This is a pure hardcore revision lecture. Okay. So taxable value of, and again, if you are having any confusion, then you can ask me on any particular point. Sir, please explain this point in detail. I'll pause the recording and I'll explain you guys. Okay. So, sir, taxable value of perquisite is 15% of salary. Please understand, 15% of salary or higher charges, whatever rent paid by employer. 15% of salary. See, anybody should not spend more than 15% of his income on the accommodation. Therefore, that 15% is a rational number. 15%. Tomorrow, if your income is 1 lakh rupees per month, your monthly rent should be around 15,000 rupees. This is what they are trying to suggest here. So 15% of the salary or higher charges, whichever is lower. This is the TVP. TVP is equal to taxable value of perquisite. Many people don't know this abbreviation. So taxable value of perquisite. Taxable value of perquisite. This is the TVP. TVP. Okay. Sir, if house is owned by employer, then we will not have this basis of comparison. Higher charges will not be there. Then what should we do, sir? Then we should link the valuation to the population of that particular town. Now, population according to our syllabus is we should take population of 2001, not 2011, not 2021, population of 2001. That is what will be given in the exam. Okay. Now, according to population in 2001, if population is up to 10 lakh in that particular town, so less population, less demand for the houses, and therefore lower possible value. The lower possible value is 7.5% of your salary. Then they say population is a moderate level, 10 lakh to 25 lakh, 10 lakh to 25 lakh. So you should increase the value of perquisite 10% of salary, 10% of salary. And if my population is above 25 lakh, then it should become 15% of salary. Okay. So 7 up to 10 lakh, 7.5% of salary, 10 lakh to 25 lakh, 10% of salary, above 25 lakh, 15% of salary. This is how you should remember. Sir, what if my employer has also provided me furniture along with the house? Then you have to determine value of rent-free unfurnished accommodation according to this chart. Once this chart is computed, then you have to add value of furniture. Now, furniture is a movable asset and therefore we have to determine annual depreciation at the rate of 10% on original cost basis, that is straight line method. Okay. And if it is higher, then you just simply add higher charges. If value of furniture is owned by employer, you have to take 10% per annum of original cost. Ignore the WDV. In PGBP chapter, we compute depreciation on WDV, but in salary chapter, we compute depreciation always on original cost. That's the main differentiation you have to remember. So if it is hired by employer, then higher charges will be provided in the question. That will become taxable value of perquisite. Okay. So what if employer has not given accommodation at free of cost? Employer has given accommodation, but he's charging some money for that. So he has given me accommodation worth rupees 20,000 rupees. He's charging 5,000 rupees. So you remove the 5,000. So for you, the beneficial value is 15,000. That is your taxable value of perquisite of concessional accommodation. Whether it is a concessional accommodation or free accommodation, you have to determine value of rent-free accommodation first. Once you have the value of rent-free accommodation, from rent-free accommodation value, you have to determine the rent paid by you. Okay. Next one. Sometimes employer may provide you or arrange for you hotel accommodation. Okay. In hotel accommodation, up to 15 days, no tax. Government is giving relaxation. That is, sometimes employee may stay for his personal work in a hotel and the charges are paid by the employer. Sometimes it is fine. 15 days are fine. Up to 15 days, no tax. After 15 days, full days will become taxable. Whatever number of days he has stayed, whole days will become taxable at the rate of 24% of the salary or hotel charges, whichever is lower. So this is another accommodation value. So what is the dual accommodation? Sometime employees shifted from Mumbai to Kerala. Employee shifted from Mumbai to Kerala. In Mumbai, his family is staying. Okay, wife is working, students, his children are going to the school. Okay, and he has to join Kerala division immediately. Many times it happens with the bank employees, government employees, they get transferred from one city to another city. So employer is telling employee that you should transfer within a week. You don't have much time. Yes, your family can shift within 3 to 4 months. So what happens here? Employer provides accommodation to the employee in both the city, Mumbai also and Kerala also. In Kerala, employee is staying. Mumbai, his family is staying because they will take their own time to finish the, the lifestyle that is going on. Maybe if his parents are old and some medical treatment is going on, wife has to resign, she has to serve the notice period. Students going, if they are going to the school, they have to finish the academic that academic year, or they have to finish that particular term. So extra number of days will be given. So he will be provided with a dual accommodation. Up to 90 days, government says you can offer any house for the taxation. Obviously, whenever I have choice to offer house 1 or house 2, I will always offer lower value house. So house 1 taxable value comes 10 lakh rupees. House 2 taxable value comes 8 lakh rupees. I will offer house 2 for the taxation. But after 90 days, government says, no. You have to offer house 1 and house 2. So 10 lakh plus 8 lakh, here 18 lakh will become taxable. Okay. Here 10 lakh or 8 lakh, whichever is lower, 8 lakh rupees will become taxable. So up to 90 days and after 90 days, this is the game here. So what do you mean by salary? So I always say this is one of the biggest perquisite, bada perquisite. So the definition of salary is also bada. Okay. So bada BCM. Okay. Sir, what is bada BCM? Basic salary, dearness allowance in terms, taxable allowances, bonus, commission. Here any commission. Please mark here word any commission and other monetary benefits. So BDA BCM. Basic salary, dearness allowance, other taxable allowance, bonus, commission, and other monetary benefit. So what is not included then? If DA in terms is included, DA not in terms is not included. Okay. If taxable component of allowance is included, exempt component of allowance is not included. If all monetary benefits are included, but retirement benefits are not included, therefore employer contribution to PF should not be considered, and other retirement benefits such as gratuity, pension, those benefits should not be considered. Okay. Sir, salary for what period? This salary will be for the relevant period. So what do you mean by relevant period? Relevant period means period in which he was actually enjoying the house, actually stayed in the house. That is the relevant period. So accommodation provided at project site, power plant, mines is in official in nature, and therefore it is not taxable. Obviously, official perquisites are not taxable. I am done with the first perquisite, that is accommodation. If you are having any query, please ask. The next perquisite is life insurance premium. Life insurance, taking life insurance is my personal responsibility, because tomorrow if I die, my family should get benefit out of it. But if life insurance premium is paid by the employer, okay, that exact amount premium paid by the employer will become taxable value in the hands of employee. Mark my word, one policy you should remember: medical insurance policy or group accident policies are exempt in the hands of employee, because it is a healthcare. It is a responsibility of employer to look after the health of the employee. Okay, so life insurance taxable, medical insurance not taxable. You should remember that. So contribution to RPF, pension fund or superannuation fund, this is very, very important, and we have discussed this already. Up to 7.5 lakh rupees per annum exempt. Above 7.5 lakh, excess is taxable. And what I told you, not only excess is taxable, annual accretion. Okay, annual accretion means annual income on the excess component is also taxable. Okay, annual increment is also taxable. Up to 7.5 lakh, annual income is also not taxable. Okay, interest-free loan. Interest-free loan means whenever employee type of people, they need extra money, they never go to a bank and take the loan. They always request their employer to give some money as a loan. Now, if loan is for treatment of specified disease, obviously it is not taxable, because if somebody is taking loan for cure of cancer or HIV or something like that, we are not supposed to take tax there, because it is a genuine loan. It is not a tax evasion loan. If loan is tiny amount, up to 20,000, the outstanding loan is 20,000. It's very tiny amount. So that is also not taxable. That will be a reasonable loan. But if loan amount is more than 20,000, then the whole amount, whole principal becomes taxable. And how do we compute tax here? Here we are not asking you to tax loan amount. Loan will be repaid, no doubt in that. But the interest that somebody has not paid, if it is completely interest-free loan, then loan amount, please understand, loan amount into SBI rate of interest. SBI rate of interest will be the interest. Please understand, this will be an interest, and this whole interest will be taxable. SBI loan amount into SBI rate of interest as on the first day of the previous year. That means whatever was SBI rate of interest on the first day of the previous year, that rate you should take. Obviously, it will be provided in the exam question. So you should take that, and whole amount of interest will be taxable. But what if, sir, SBI rate of interest is 13% per annum, but my employer has given me interest. He is charging interest, but only 5% interest. So we call it concessional interest. So how much concession you are getting from SBI? If you would have taken loan, 13% you had to pay. But you are taking loan from your employer, so you are paying only 5%. So how much is saved? Sir, 8% is saved. That 8% will become perquisite in your hand. So look at this valuation here. Sir, taxable value of perquisite, this is principal amount. Maximum monthly outstanding balance as on the last day of each month, as on the last day of each month, into interest rate of SBI, which, sir, on the first day of the previous year, typing here, on the first day of the previous year, minus interest charged by the employer, if any, okay, if any, into 1/12. So why are you taking 1/12? Because here I'm computing monthly basis. If you are computing on annual basis, obviously this 1/12 will not be there. So what is this? This is principal into rate into T, PRT. Okay. Principal, rate and time factor. Obviously we are computing interest here. Therefore this PRT formula will be there. Okay. Next one. Use of movable asset. If employer is giving you laptop or computer, obviously it was given for official work, so it is not taxable. If any other asset is given, TV, refrigerator, air condition, then that will be taxable. How? If it is owned by employer, 10% of the original cost, ignore the WDV. If it is hired by employer, higher charges. Easy, not that difficult. If employer is transferring the asset, what is the difference between this and this, sir? What is the difference between use and transfer? Use and transfer means if it is given for use, then at a time of retirement, you have to give back that particular asset. Transfer means it is permanently given to you. And if something is permanently given to you, you don't have to return. Even you resign the organization, you are not supposed to return the asset. That is the transfer of asset. It is actually sale of asset. Now, tomorrow, if your employer takes 2 lakh rupees worth laptop and transfers you that particular laptop whole ownership, obviously taxable value of perquisite is original cost. But if something which is already used in the organization, say for example, there is one laptop in the organization which was purchased 4 years back for 2 lakh rupees. So you have to provide 4-year depreciation, and then WDV will become taxable. So new asset, original cost taxable. If old asset, WDV will become taxable. Sometime organization, please understand, sometime organization will not give you free. Okay, they will give you asset, but they will charge some concessional amount. Say for example, value of the asset was 2 lakh rupees, but they will charge at least 40,000 from you. So if value 2 lakh rupees, but they have charged 40,000 rupees, so the taxable value will be 1.6 lakh. So this is how you should remember. If something worth 2 lakh rupees given to you at 40,000, whatever you did not pay, that becomes your benefit. Okay, that will become taxable in your hand. So how do we compute WDV? To compute WDV, we have to provide depreciation. Now we are having different rate of depreciation under PGBP chapter, and we are having different rate of depreciation in salary chapter. This is what again you need to learn. For laptop and computer, the rate of depreciation here is 50%, and for motor car it is 20%. In PGBP chapter for computer we are having 40%, and for motor car we are having 15%. So rate of depreciations are different. Here method is WDV, here also method is WDV. For any other asset, cycle, furniture, sofa set, any other asset, it will be 10%. The method is SNM. That means you have to compute it on original cost. Here you will compute on original cost. Okay. So the method is also you need to remember. One more thing you should check here. If somebody has given me asset after 4 years and 8 months, you have to ignore the 8 months, because the depreciation will be computed only for each completed years. Each full year you have to compute the depreciation, not for proportionate year. And then whatever amount is received from the employee, you have to deduct. The balance amount will become taxable value per perquisite. Sir, give us one example. Okay, employer transferred the laptop for 2,000 rupees to employee. The laptop was originally purchased for 1 lakh rupees and period of use is 3 years and 8 months. 3 years and 8 months. Okay, this is the period of use. Now, how we have to compute depreciation or WDV? Original cost in the year 1 was 1 lakh rupees. Depreciation for year 1 50%. So the WDV at the end of the year 1 becomes 50,000. Depreciation in actual WDV method for year 2 is another 50%. So that also you have to subtract. WDV at the end of the second year is 25,000. Depreciation for third year becomes 12,500, 50% on the WDV. WDV at the end of the third year is 12,500. Ignore this 8 months because we have to provide depreciation for each completed year. So depreciation for 8 months we have to ignore. No depreciation we will provide. This is the WDV as on date of sale, and it was actually sold for 2,000 rupees. That means 2,000 rupees was recovered from the employee. Obviously, that much amount we have to subtract. So taxable value of that particular laptop in the hands of employees only 10,500. Okay. Again, I'll take a small pause.